Well, Election Day has turned now into Election Week.
Yeah, there is still a lot to get to. And joining us right now is Suzanne Chad. She is an associate professor of political science at North Central College. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
There's a lot of talk about the Electoral College as opposed to the popular vote. And a lot of people may not know the history of the Electoral College and why we follow it. Could you give us a history of it?
Absolutely. So, the Electoral College was instituted initially as a way to try to balance out representation between big states and small states, northern states and southern states. And in particular, the fight was over whether slaves who had no rights as humans but were seen as property should be considered as part of the population. Of course, southern states wanted them part of population so they could have more representation in Congress, which would give them more Electoral College votes. And the compromise there was the 3/5 compromise to count every five slaves as 3 people. And so what that ended up doing was amplifying the amount of representation that really five southern states got in the Electoral College. So it has deep roots in racism and slavery and in representation and compromising a balance between the North and the South to be able to get the Constitution ratified.
Well, as we are talking with you, we're watching the ballot counters doing their work here for how many more hours, we don't quite know yet. But Suzanne, talk to me a little bit about the challenges that the Trump campaign is bringing forth and the statements that the president is making here. Do you have any feeling or concerns about, once the merit is decided on the argument that he's making, what that does to his supporters and what that does about the divisiveness that we're experiencing as a nation right now because of these declarations?
As you say, these declarations that are based in no evidence. The Trump campaign has brought a couple of suits forward, in fact, more than a couple, to a handful of states, and only one has been accepted by a judge and was remedied, and in fact wasn't really a remedy that was necessary, but was given nonetheless. And what we're seeing is that the conspiracy theories, the unfounded claims of wide-scale voter fraud, the president laid the foundation for these months ago when he railed against mail-in voting, and now we're seeing his supporters double and triple down on this. And as the president goes in front of international audiences and cries cheat when there's no evidence, this is damaging to our democracy. It is damaging to the legitimacy of our institutions, the way that we see ourselves, and also the way the world sees us. It is very dangerous.
Past elections, we usually know by the night of election day who has won. Why is this one going so much more slowly? I mean, is it more mail-in ballots? Is it the pandemic? What is it? Is the divisiveness in the country?
Yeah. It's definitely the first two. It's a great point. So we know that we had an explosion of mail-in voting because of the coronavirus. And so this is, a good thing that we had more votes. This is good for democracy that we saw a huge increase in voter turnout, mail-in votes and in person. And so counting those ballots takes time, especially people who requested a mail-in ballot, decided to go vote in person and cast a provisional ballot. Those are then set aside to make sure that they don't vote twice. To make sure, as I said, they don't vote twice. It is a way to make sure fraud isn't happening. Also, we do see a decrease in the amount of workers and volunteers who will sit for hours and hours in a closed facility because of the pandemic. Every state has different rules and regulations. So this is going to take some time, but we have to take time to do it right.
I don't know if you're a betting woman, but if you are, or if you're not, give us an idea of how much longer you think we'll be kind of in this dark cloud of uncertainty. When will that be lifted, would you guess?
Yeah, if I had a crystal ball and was a betting woman or both of those, I would be very rich right now. But what I do know is that we're going to see more votes coming in from Pennsylvania, more coming in from Nevada. Georgia, we know it's going to a recount because it is so razor thin. That's going to be a while before it's called. There's still over 100,000 ballots to be counted in Pennsylvania, so it's going to be a little while. And of course, if we can call Joe Biden the winner in Pennsylvania, it takes him to that 270. So while it is frustrating, and I want to know almost more than anyone, we have to do it right and we have to do it safely. So we just have to try to be patient and stay as calm as we can.
All right, Suzanne, great to talk with you as always. Thanks so much.
You all as well. Take good care.
All right, you too. All right, time now.